Joining me now with more is Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton. Senator, thanks a lot for joining me. Really appreciate it.
Good to be on with you, Dan.
So, Senator, you were one of the voices you were attacked, grotesquely attacked for speaking truth early on and asking just basic questions. Hey, there's a lab in Wuhan that studies coronaviruses. We have a coronavirus outbreak. That lab has had safety problems in the past. As a pretty smart guy, you said maybe we should ask some questions about this. And you were brutally attacked. And, I know you're not one of these Schadenfreude guys, but it's got to feel good to be right and to put them on their heels a little bit, the left and the media. I mean, they look like idiots now.
Dan, I wish I'd been wrong, obviously, given all that Americans have lost over the last 18 months from this pandemic. But it didn't really take a lot of intelligence last year to say, gosh, this virus emerged from Wuhan, a city larger than New York, right down the street from that lab where they research viruses. And the lady that runs those labs is literally nicknamed the Bat Lady. Maybe we should take a look at them. I'm glad to see that NBC News is finally reporting to its viewers that that lab has deep ties to the Chinese Communist Party's military. If you were watching Fox 18 months ago and ever since, you would know that. There is no distinction in China between the party and the state and the military and supposedly private institutions like government research institutions or companies or anything else. The party controls everything, and the military is the arm of the Communist Party in China.
Senator, I had former DNI John Ratcliffe on my show last week, and I asked him this question I'll ask you. It just sadly, it feels like we're losing here. I mean, China's infiltrated Hollywood, our sports industry. We have technology takeovers. We've had government procurement issues in China, intellectual property theft. We have Taiwan being threatened. We have Hong Kong right now in the midst of a takeover right in front of our faces. I mean, what can we do? Is there any way to expand kind of a Magnitsky type thing where we can sanction some of their diplomats and their kids? I mean, the one thing they want to do is be able to visit America. But doesn't it, listen, I'm a patriot like you, but we've got to be candid. Doesn't it feel like we're taking a kick in the cojones here, man? We got to fight back.
Yeah, Dan, as you say, politicians in both parties for many decades put China's interest ahead of so many Americans' interests, whether it's our factory workers or our troopers who are stationed in the Western Pacific, some of the missionaries we had going to China, to say nothing of what they do to their own people in places like Hong Kong or Northwest China where they're committing genocide against ethnic and religious minorities.
Right.
But we need to remember that China needs us a lot more than we need them. We can buy our T-shirts and sneakers from another country, but where are they going to sell theirs? So we can slap more tariffs on them. As you say, we can take away visas from Chinese communist officials and their kids so they don't come here and take spots in our universities that should be for American kids. We can revoke their permanent most favored nation status so they don't get that beneficial trade status, but rather Congress and the president have to decide every year whether we'll extend it for one more year. Those are all ways that we can make China pay, not just for unleashing this plague on the world, but also for decades of lying and cheating and stealing. It is time to lower the boom on China.
Yeah, and it seems, Senator, like the only country doing it right now is Australia. Australia's taken a pretty muscular stand. And it seems like we're just taking back and taking. But I want to move on quickly to Russia, because that's important, too. You're obviously well-versed in foreign policy. What an embarrassment, right, that President Biden stops a pipeline here, the Keystone Pipeline, costs Americans 11,000 jobs and costs us domestic energy security. But then he gives Vladimir Putin a free pass to build a pipeline to enrich himself straight to Germany when the Trump administration tried to stop this because of the transit fees that they would have bypassed. I mean, I don't understand how Democrats up on the Hill with you see that as being fair. Block a pipeline here, but give it to Russia?
Yeah, it's crazy, Dan, that we would end a pipeline here that's going to create thousands of high-paying American jobs, that's going to provide more energy security to the United States and our ally Canada to the north. While Joe Biden allows that pipeline to be built from Russia to Germany to more deeply hook Western Europe on Russian gas and to prevent Americans from exporting our gas to Western Europe when we could create even more jobs here. And let's not forget a third pipeline in this tale of three pipelines, Dan. It was Russian criminals that hacked into the Colonial Pipeline that caused gas lines all across the eastern United States. And Joe Biden's anemic response to them did nothing to teach Vladimir Putin a lesson that he cannot continue to harbor these cyber criminals who continue to attack America's critical infrastructure like gas pipelines or meat processing plants. The only thing Vladimir Putin is learning over the last 6 months is that Uncle Sam is wearing a kick me sign with Joe Biden in the White House.
You know, Senator, that's a great way to sum up these dreadful last 6 months, those 3 pipelines. That tells the whole story. I'm out of time, unfortunately. Thanks a lot for joining us, Senator Tom Cotton. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan. Happy Independence Day to everyone.
Oh, happy Independence Day to you as well.